This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
It's the ultimate guide to anything Filipino in Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show. I'm your host, Gilbert Glorioso, and I'll go ahead and bring in my business partners and hosts of this show as well, Bernie Benito and Lonnie Andal. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
How you doing?
Good. Good.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, so yes, we have a special guest tonight. It's a good friend of mine. His name is Dante Thompson. Okay. He's coming in from Insurance Group of Nevada. So I'll go ahead and bring on right now. Dante, how you doing?
Good evening, Gilbert. Thank you so much for inviting me on to this show. It is quite the experience, and I am pleased to meet each and every last one of you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Welcome to our little family.
Yeah.
Oh, so I know we have lots of questions because Dante's been in the insurance business for a while. He was before doing communications, just like what I was doing before back in the clear days is what I would call it, right?
He was clear also?
He was one of the guys at Clear Corporate.
Okay.
And he jumped ship and went into insurance.
Because when Gilbert started Clear, I think I was his first customer.
Yeah.
I'm always your first customer. In whatever project you're in, I'm always your first customer. I'm going to change my... Hey, you always call me.
Yeah, so give us a little history of yourself, Dante.
All right, guys. Well, Gilbert, thank you so much for telling everybody. I've been in the industry for now. This will be my 10th year in the industry. And I said, my goodness, I can't believe how time sure flies by. It felt like just yesterday I was in Clear, working in that call center, doing technical support work. And still can't believe it to this day how I went from something IT to insurance. And honestly, that started with a personal, something that's near dear to my heart, something that happened in my life back in that Clear days. As you know, back in 2010, that's when Clear was doing their layoff. Well, around that same time was when I had this health episode. And me not knowing nothing about insurance except for, hey, I get it through my job. That's all I basically knew. And when I lost my job, I had no insurance. And at the same time, having to battle a medical condition where no one wouldn't see me, no doctor, no pharmacy, nobody wouldn't see me, give me the treatment that I needed without either one, insurance or money. Well, the money was into the thousands of dollars. And, as anybody can attest that once you just lose a job, pretty sure you don't have thousands of dollars just sitting around to give it to a medical doctor or facility. So I searched, trying to find someone to help me. And people came along and they were only in for one reason, to sell a policy. And when they couldn't sell the policy, honestly, I never heard from them again. Make a long story short, never really got the answer from the average agent out there. I had to do my own digging. I had to do my own research to get the help that I needed so I could deal with my health condition. After I got situated and I got my health together, I realized that there was hundreds and hundreds of people who were just like me. So from then, I made it my mission to provide that service, that support for everyone just like me. I feel that no individual should have to ever forgo or delay any health services without having the financial means to pay for things like medical services. So I built a agency that were predominantly around life and health insurance that gave people all options. It helped people through the traumatic points in their life. So I try to make my process is making things simpler for people, getting people to get through that easier, not having to go do all that research on your own. Like I tell my friend, I tell some of our friends, I said, from the very beginning, whether I make a $1 off a sale of an insurance policy doesn't matter to me. What matters the most is that I was able to help that individual or that family. So beyond making a dollar, what matters the most is helping that individual, helping that family. I did slowly progress the agency into what we call a multi-line insurance agency. And that went beyond the scope of life and health. And that went into what we call property and casualty. Property and casualty includes things protecting a customer's home, their apartment, their car, their business. Not sure people know, but we have a lot of personal injury lawyers out here in town that's looking to make people pay for accidental damages. I make sure my clients are well informed. They have the information, no matter regardless on which insurance company it's with. Again, I will go back to working with an insurance company that I have no relationship whatsoever. If that's in the best interest of the client, I'm telling my client to go with that option. Again, if I don't make a dollar, I really don't. Making the compensation doesn't matter to me. What matters the most is helping that individual, helping that family get through sometimes life when life throws those curveballs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. So, like I said, that 10 years, I'm celebrating my 10-year anniversary in the insurance industry. I am the broker, the agent of Insurance Group of Nevada. We are a multi-line independent insurance agency. We partner with anybody. We work with anybody. We even work with someone's existing agency. I don't care who that person is. Someone might have an agent that they love so much. They've been around for 20 or 30 years. I'm not saying, hey, change your agent. No. Well, keep that person. It's just like when we say, hey, you have to change your doctor. No. I'd rather see somebody keep that relationship that they built with that person versus to going with somebody brand new. And I'm willing to work with anybody. Like I said, I have clients who come in who show me insurance policies where I see discrepancies. The first thing I'm asking is, who's your agent? Let's call them on the phone because this is a problem. And we need to talk about it. I do that for some of my clients who have tax prepare. Have one client who had a problem with someone at H&R Block. And she ended up owing the Internal Revenue a lot of money because of an issue that occurred with a preparer at H&R Block. I told the client, I said, hey, listen, this is clearly a tax preparation problem. Let's get your CPA or your tax preparer on the line. I'm more than welcome. Let's work. Let's put it on the table. Let's all work together to achieve the common goal. And that's what's in the best interest of the client.
Awesome.
Going back to agents, we're a multi-line agency representing care for life, health, auto, home, business insurance. Predominantly, I think we have over about 100 different insurance carriers and markets. We represent both companies that are both admitted and non-admitted. This means that we can cover the simple bakery down the street to the escort company that's on the other side of town. If it's an idea and someone is passionate about that idea and they want that idea to take off, let's go take off. If you want to jump out that hot air balloon, well, I don't know about that, but if you want to go, if you want to go skydiving, I mean, let's go. Long as we got a parachute, I'll go skydiving with you. Heck, I mean, if we wake up one day, let's go skydiving. And I said, Gilbert, let's go skydive. Let's go jump out of a plane.
Get insurance
let's go.
first.
You want to take that risk? I mean, let's go.
Yeah. Dante, you don't look that old. I mean, may I ask, how old are you?
Good question. Thanks so much, Gilbert, for the compliment. I think I'm 30. I just turned 38 years old as a
38. Oh my gosh.
And
you're big.
And I made it through the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, though. Let's put this on the record. COVID is no joke. It's real.
True.
I tested positive for it back in November, and it was one of the worst pains that someone could ever want to endure.
Wow.
Luckily, thank God, I wasn't hospitalized, but I didn't have a problem with my breathing, but I did have a problem with pain and walking. Man, I'm talking about from walking from the simple handicap spot at the UMC hospital to that main emergency room door. It's about 300 feet. Well, me personally, I almost died trying to make it from that parking lot to that door.
Wow.
So COVID is no joke. That's what I tell people. I agree with the governor. Wear the mask. Wear mask. Is no joke. As far as that vaccine, though, yeah, we need information, though, for sure.
Well, I love your story, Dante, because out of a need, you developed a whole different vocation for yourself. And then thought, like you said, this probably is just not happening to me. It's happening to other people out there who maybe weren't so aggressive as you or didn't know where to start, but you stuck to it and said, okay, there's got to be a better way, because if for your own personal need, you made it now your dream job.
Yeah.
Because you're helping people.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, when they make a transition for the job, they either do it for monetary reasons, for positions, and yours is for a need, a human need to get the information put out there. So this way you get the right medical help. And especially now with people who are out of work, their insurance stops, there's no carryover. It's very, very delicate what people are going through now. If they don't have insurance, whether it's a home insurance, health insurance, car insurance, a lot of people are foregoing those things because it's seeming to be frivolous when you're trying to keep a roof over your head.
Lonnie, you bring up an excellent point, and I totally agree with that. And we're in this pandemic where people are choosing between paying the rent or putting food on the table. And sadly, insurance is not in that equation. And I get it. I respect it. And but what I try to tell people, again, whether it's me or somebody else, look at their policies, open those policies up. A lot of times there's some claims where there's some type of compensation that can be obtained from one of those insurance policies that we purchased 3, 4, or 5 years ago that we never looked at. So I encourage that. Yeah, so I help the client just go ahead and open those things up and see what we're working with. In addition, a lot of carriers are offering more discounts now because people are driving less. Mm-hmm. And statistically, there's probably less claims. So, in the result, the clients are benefiting by having lower premiums. Give you an example. I did it myself. I was paying a little over $300 a month for 3 cars, 3 cars with liability, 1 with full coverage. Well, I'm making a disclaimer. Full coverage, the definition of full coverage is a marketing term. There's really no such thing as full coverage. But in the eyes of a consumer, it's typically like your comprehensive and your collision. But again, I was paying a little over $300 a month. And I haven't looked at that policy about 5 years. 5 years. It's just been no auto pay. This came out of my account every single month. I haven't looked twice at it. And someone says, you know what? look at that policy again. And I did. And I saved myself over $80 per month for the same level of coverage. So I tell now people is look at those policies. Sit down with that local agent, not the 1-800 number, but sit down with that local agent who's an essential employee. I don't care if it's the guy down the street. He's an essential employee. Sit down with that person. Go through those policies with a fine-tooth comb. Compare those with all those other insurance companies out there. And usually on average, I'm saving customers anywhere between $80 to $100 per month on home and auto. Health insurance, I mean, we're talking about health insurance, we're talking about now, have a lot of clients who were furloughed because of the pandemic, and they don't qualify for things like Medicaid. And again, they don't know where to turn. Well, these clients also enjoy a premium health insurance cost as low as $0 per month. So when they go to the doctor, they pay them $10 to see a doctor, maybe $20 for a medication. Totally manageable. But again, it's all about opening up that insurance policy, seeing what you got. One thing I do for every individual, no matter where this person lives at, whether they're a customer of mine or not, my agency, Insurance Group in Nevada, provides a complimentary, meaning no charge for the app, where anybody can download the app through the Apple or the Google Play Store. It's under Agent Terra or My Insurance wallet. You can look for our links on our social media webpage. But it's the agency pays for the app to have it hosted on the Apple Market and the Android store. And anybody can download this mobile app regardless whether you're a customer with us or not. This app is like your insurance policy in your wallet. It can manage everything from your life, health, your auto, your home, your secondary insurance, any type of insurance you can think of can be loaded into this app where you can look at these things at a glance. So we talk about review that policy. What can go? What can trim? What do we not need? What do we need? What is essential? What is not essential? Anybody can look at that app and we can quickly identify the things that are essential and then quickly identify the things that are not essential, things that can wait.
You know what?
Again,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. So again, that app is totally complimentary to anybody, regardless whether you're a client or a customer, or if someone never even heard of Insurance Group in Nevada, they can download that app at no charge to them. It's basically they go to our website, insurancechoice.us, and there's a big download link, and they can download that from their phone, and they can start storing their policy information, and it's 100% secure. It's like a bank grade security encryption on that information.
You know, it's so sad. I mean, it's kind of coincidental that we have you today. I'm an assistant manager for 2 mobile parks, and we had a fire in one of them yesterday. And my supervisor said to me, "Oh, well, at least she has insurance." I said, "I'll bet you anything she doesn't." Because when I was at those offices, out of, say, 398 homes, 5 had insurance.
Wow.
5. So this woman lost her entire home in 7 minutes.
Wow.
And no insurance, not even renter's insurance for the contents inside, nothing. I don't know why people are so hesitant. It would have been $19 a month for her to have home insurance.
Yeah, it says, yeah.
It's pennies on what happens when you are on fire and you're walking away with the clothes on your back, the pictures, the memories, keepsakes, furniture, pets, they're gone, and you have no way to replace them. And what you're saying about insurance, people always think it's frivolous to have insurance. Oh, I don't need insurance. Oh, you're going to live forever, and your house is going to be standing flood, roof, fireplace, gas. These things come into play. And why people are, they spend $19 on cigarettes. Why can't you get your insurance?
Right.
To me, it's peace of mind.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and Lonnie, that's such a sad. That's one of the saddest stories. How someone chose to forego an insurance policy that really would have cost as little as $300 a year. We're talking about $25 a month, and that insurance policy would have rebuilt that home and also paid for an additional living expense like a hotel, plus meal allowances as well, and replace those contents that was lost.
Yeah.
Fire is one of the most common causes of we'll call, I'm using an insurance term, but loss is a basic common. So when we talk about costs of policies, with fire being the number one basic, someone can essentially go from like what we call an open policy, where everything is covered unless it's specifically excluded in the policy contract, or they can go to a basic policy. Basic policies cover those main causes, especially that fire. So that basic policy that's like $100 a month, or $100 a year, or $200 a year will provide coverage for that fire. Just that basic policy. And that's what I've been, the purpose of our social media when the agency is utilizing social media, like our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our websites. It's more like to spread that awareness, especially when we do things like this, is to spread that awareness so people we can really think twice about that insurance. Especially, except with my story, medical and also car. Yeah. Of course, I have a story for car insurance as well. I'm not sure we have no time. But I'm going to tell you a story with the car insurance. Again, this is back when I was before insurance, I think. Yeah, it was right after Clearwire. I got another job at a debt collection call center. And I was driving it was a Ford Explorer I was driving. And I was headed underneath the McCarran Airport Tunnel. Everyone knows where the airport tunnel connector is at. This is right around when they were doing all that construction in the roadway at the airport. Well, I'm driving along and something hits the car. To this day, I have no clue what it was. All I know was It
wasn't another car. Just something.
No, it wasn't another car. It was like an object that was in the road.
Oh my.
And it damaged the hood and the front light. And I had Progressive at the time. And I took it to Progressive. I filed a claim with Progressive, took it to their service center, amazing concierge service. And they diagnosed the damages at about $2,500 worth of damage. And again, no one ever told me about $1,000, the difference between $1,000 deductible and a $500 deductible. I relied on the advice of someone who works in that call center. And that person said, "Oh yeah, go get $1,000 deductible." Well, guess what? The reality of it, really, I only was saving about $10 a month. I was saving about $10 a month, and I could have had a lower deductible and got my car fixed by Progressive instead of having Progressive send me a check minus $1,000 deductible. Wow. So that education, that advice, that spreading, that telling our neighbors, they'll find that local independent agent.
Right.
That's somebody who lives in the community. There's somebody who could be your next door neighbor, knows the industry. Somebody, I think that is like a much better resource than, like I said, that not to downplay the carrier or anything, but me spending an hour on hold trying to reach somebody in the call center. I just so strongly recommend, suggest that someone speaks down with that local independent insurance agent. If they can't find one, I mean, there's Allstate on the corner, State Farm's on the corner. I mean, all honestly, it's just about getting them the protection that we need, no matter which door we walk into.
Right.
Well, it's just like health insurance. Sometimes you get these health agents that sell you the policy, and it's items that you'll never use. I mean, what's the use of selling health insurance to a 60-year-old woman that has pregnancy coverage? Come on. She's paying premiums on something she's never going to have and never use. So again, like with your policy, you took the time to take a look at the policy and saw that the benefits that you did have and that you could utilize. People don't take the time to see what they're entitled to. They pay the premium and then they go, oh, well, I can't see this doctor, or I can't get that medicine, or I can't get those x-rays. When you're past, I would say, 55, 60, and you need additional medical assistance, if you don't have the right policy for yourself, you're paying extra. So for your insurance that you're talking about, reading the policy, you saved yourself $80 because you knew what to look for. You should do, something, what people don't understand, this would be a perfect time for you to do Zoom classes on what your policy has for you and to make sure that you're in the right policy. People think a policy is a policy is a policy, and you can point out to them the items that they need for their lifestyle, because everybody's different. And that may be something in this pandemic for you to think about, an education Zoom class about insurance policies. It would be entertaining.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with Lonnie. And I know putting that together, I know that it has to be planning and some preparation. And I'm glad you brought that up. And that was one of my pet projects that I was working on. Being a single agent, I have an office of about one part-time staff member, and then myself as the only licensed agent. And again, that was one of my pet projects, to do a Zoom or webinar.
Absolutely.
Where I would do that policy introduction, just to show people, hey, this is what we have, this is what we're paying for, as well as those limits and what those limits really mean. Just to give you a tidbit on the health, let's go back to the health insurance. Yeah, there's a lot of health agents out there, and some sells junk plans, some sells plans that are fully compliant. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that a 62-year-old woman or male purchase a health insurance policy that includes pregnancy and maternity care. I agree. They probably will never use it. Unfortunately, I know that that's one of those Affordable Care Act or those mandates that is embedded in that policy. So even though someone is paying for a policy like that, they also have a couple other benefits. One, there's no maximum to care, meaning their medical bills can exceed $2 million. There's no maximum. There's a maximum dollar amount that they're going to be the most that someone will spend without any subsidies as far as medical care. And that's usually capped at about $8,500 or $8,550 to be exact. And again, this is without any special tax subsidies. In addition, like some of those ACA plans, they cover 100%, regardless of whether it be a bronze, silver, or gold plan, 100% copay for any physical exam. So we're talking about that 60 or 62-year-old female or 62-year-old male who really is only going to go to the doctor maybe once or twice. Yeah, I would say a silver plan or a gold plan usually going to be higher in cost. That bronze plan, yeah, they're probably going to be higher in cost. But here's what they get, like that they're getting, is God forbid that what if scenario that results in hospitalization, i.e. COVID-19. And by the way, some insurance companies are waiving any cost sharing that's related to COVID-19. But anything outside of that, like pneumonia, is what triggered me to go to the emergency room, is typically subject to your deductible and co-insurance. So under some insurance plans that some agents may sell, they pay up to a certain dollar amount after a negotiated charge. With an ACA plan, there's always a maximum limit of how much someone can expect to spend for hospital services. And again, this is collectively in 1 year, so $8,550 collectively in 1 year. So they're getting that two of those most important benefits: the no limit to care, the maximum out-of-pocket limit to care, where they know their medical expenses are not going to exceed $8,550, versus the other plans where it may be lesser in cost. The insurance can only up to a certain dollar amount, and those usually cap at about either $250,000 or $1 million annually for each year, or $5 million in a lifetime. So those plans are usually like half the cost, assuming no subsidies are involved. Great plans, again, but if someone's really concerned about that, what if I'm hospitalized? What if I need long-term care? What if I need rehabilitative services like home health care services? What if I need a home health care aide to come to my house? Some of those other plans doesn't provide any coverage for that. However, the Affordable Care, that plan that covers the pregnancy, maternity, and newborn care also provides coverage for rehabilitative care or long-term care services, or a home health care aide after we may have a surgery. So so again, I try to sit down with, like I said, every client and let that client or let that individual know, especially during our social, when I do social media, let people know that, okay, this is the difference between that plan versus this plan. And some people are really concerned about long-term care. Some people are really concerned about hospice care.
You should work on your seminar, webinar, because now that you're part of the Resource Guide family, we can publicize it on several shows that PHLV has. We can post it on our Facebook webpage. So by the time you're ready to Zoom, you'll have like 20 Zoomers in there. And it's a fantastic experience because they can ask questions. It's entertaining. People are starting to get stir crazy. Okay. I mean, I go to work every day, but on the weekends I am home, and I think I have watched every Blacklist, Avengers, Resident, all the programs. But when we have one Zoom class a week at my company from all through the United States of all our other sister companies, and at least it breaks the monotony to see our people that we usually wouldn't see. We would see at conference, and now we're just Zooming. So we have about 30 people that we Zoom with, and it at least keeps you in contact, until the real thing comes along. So prepare your webinar Zoom so we could publicize it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when I start with that, like I say, that's one of my pet projects. And insurance is a topic, again, no one really wants to talk about, and I know it's not a real light topic. And I think it's going to be structured in a way where it's one call would be one particular type of policy. And then another call would be that typical reviewing that home insurance, that renter's insurance. Then another would be reviewing those auto policies. And I believe the first one that I have in the works is home and auto, or especially auto. More specifically, the liability. That's gonna be my most focal point, just to give you a heads up. And when I mean liability, is because I've seen it time and time again, where there's agents who sells this ridiculous limit of $300,000 worth of liability coverage, but no justification for it. And they say, oh, you need it. What if you hit a BMW or a Mercedes? Okay, you hit the BMW or Mercedes. Is it really going to cost $300,000 worth of damage? I mean, honestly, I've seen where it can cost $1 million. Even that agent who sold that policy with $300,000 worth of liability coverage, they think they're doing the right thing, but that person could get into an accident with a pedestrian walking across the street.
Right.
And that pedestrian could be an adult who is the single breadwinner of the family, who's the breadwinner who's providing for their family. And without that person, their families may not be able to have money to pay the rent or even put food on the table or clothes on their back, predominantly almost leading them to be homeless, especially in this pandemic. I mean, someone went from 2-income household to 1-income household. Some is even faced with no income in their household. So the very little disruption in that family can mean that family being able to pay the rent, keep the lights on. And that going back to that example with the car who hits that pedestrian, God forbid, knock on wood, that does not happen. But is $300,000 really going to be enough to take care of that family?
Let me get to this, Dante. And as a novice, because again, with insurance policies, say you did hit a Tesla, okay, and that's possible for $300,000. If you've exercised your limit, do they just take whatever your insurance covers, or do they now try to go after you personally if you have assets?
Good question. And that's a very important thing. And that's the deciding factor whether somebody purchased more than the $300,000. And just to give you an idea, that $300,000 is the total amount for the accident, but it also is for bodily injury. So if someone hits, let's say, a Tesla, that Tesla will be considered as property damage limit, where in some cases it may be a $50,000 or $100,000 limit. So it's usually written like a split, like 100, 300, 100.
Okay.
And in that situation, that Tesla will have up to $100,000 of liability coverage if you hit a Tesla. If damage exceeds that $100,000 or the policy limits, the customer ultimately, yes, is on the hook for the remaining balance.
We are.
Correct. And those are typically found in like court cases where the judge or jury may award an injured person more than what the policy limits are based on the damages.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so the insurance group of Nevada is a brokerage, right? Am I right? Can you enlighten me in this? You covered everything, insurance and auto and liabilities and all that. Am I right?
That's correct. We're brokers. We're independent insurance brokers.
I certainly understand. There's some. Can you explain to me about a quick one about the gap? Where the gap wherein you have to pay for the difference, just in case the one that you're explaining about, in case there's a difference in in the damage and all that. Is that a part of the gap?
Good question. So the gap, there's two types of, well, actually there's three types of gaps. That's what can purchase. There's the gap they purchase from the dealership, and there's also a medical gap policy. And the medical gap, it works with someone's traditional health insurance. And then there's the gap that can be purchased as a standalone on someone's auto insurance policy. And I hope I'm asking your questions, but hopefully, I hope. If I'm not, correct me. The way how the gap typically works within the insurance company, if someone's not eligible for the new car replacement, they have the gap. It pays usually on average about 25% after the actual cash value minus any deductible. So what that means is someone driving a $20,000 car and the car is, let's say, worth $20,000 at the time of an accident, insurance company would pay $20,000 minus $500, which would be your usually standard deductible.
Yes. Yeah.
So insurance company would pay $19,500. Well, what if someone had the same $20,000 car and 5 years later have an accident? Well, instead of that car being worth $20,000, it's now worth, let's say, $10,000. So now the most the insurance company is going to pay is $9,500. Well,
Yes.
what if someone still has a loan on the car of $15,000?
Okay.
Well, $9,500 is applied to that $15,000 loan, leaving approximately another $5,000.
Yes.
So then, if they have the 25% gap through the auto insurance policy, the auto insurance policy would pay an additional 25% of the $9,000.
Yeah.
Again, still leaving someone on the hook for the remainder balance of the loan.
Do you have any? Do you have any website?
I do. So good question. So our website is www.insurancechoice.us.
Okay,
So
insurancechoice.us. Because
Insurance
we're
choice.
out of time here. So if you can plug in your informations, so it would be best for us. And then, of course, since you are one of our advertisers now, we will, we will patronize you. We will help you disseminate this kind of information, about your business.
I like
Yes.
it.
Insurancechoice.us.
.us.
Okay, great. Okay.
Once again, that phone number again that they can reach you at?
That phone
702?
number is going to be 702-996-6434. And we do operate at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week answering service where no call goes unanswered. It's usually answered by a live person each and every time. Again, phone number 702-996-6434. If someone needs to reach me personally, they can reach me on my cellular phone, 702-420-6373. And again, that mobile application, for the insurance digital wallet is what I call it, is complimentary to anybody that can download that app, regardless whether you have your policy with Geico, State Farm. I don't care, but you can download this app and you can include all of your policies all under one application. And when you plug in that information, it actually links to that insurance company's website for the things like filing a claim, paying a bill, managing that policy directly from that app.
Okay,
Again,
good. Yeah.
Thank you so
great.
much.
That's great to know about that one, and really, really, a lot of people will be needing you. Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely. And I also want to thank you personally for being a part of 2021's Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide. And of course, you're going to be playing some advertisement here also on PHLV Radio. We want to thank you so much for joining us on this.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Gilbert, Lonnie, thank you so much. I mean,
All right. Thank you.
Amazing.
All
All right. Once again, this is Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a nice evening. See you next week. Same time, same place.
Bye,
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Thank you.
The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.